questions about them often. I see them being posted often, and essentially people ask me, should I be purchasing this list, and so on and so forth. Let me go ahead. If you haven't seen a private buyer list, let me tell you exactly what it is. From my knowledge, I've never purchased one of these lists, but many people have tried to sell them to me, so I'm going to do my best to represent exactly what they are. I might fall short in some areas, but I'm going to give you the general gist of it, okay? So the private buyer list, essentially it's these long lists, and if you don't want to know what a private buyer is, I have a video on my channel, and it's actually in other people's courses who have taken that video, and it'll tell you exactly what a private buyer is, how to deal with them, how they work, and where you can sell your phones to. Essentially, the private buyer is the alternative to eBay, to where you can sell phones and you can actually be paid for them the same day that you sell them. So that's what a private buyer is if you do not know. So obviously there will be private buyers who pay a lot of money, private buyers who don't pay a lot of money, and somewhere in between. And something that a lot of people have been doing lately is they have been selling these lists. And essentially these lists have the contact information and details of these private buyers who are extremely high paying. Obviously, there are different types of private buyers. There are U.S.-based private buyers. There, of course, are private buyers in different countries. And from my knowledge, all of those are kind of in these lists that you pay for, and it gives you all the private buyer information, their name, their telephone number, their email, I guess, their contact information. And so you might ask, well, why would I pay for these lists? Why? What sense does that make? And I'll tell you, the good selling point for these lists is that you have a centralized location with some reputable private buyers, to where you can get their contact information, and they might be paying higher than whatever private buyer that you were using. And that's the good thing. I can see that. I could see definitely why somebody would want to purchase a list, and I can see why people would want to sell the list like that. So that's what it is. It's a list that essentially gives you access to higher paying private buyers, and allows you to essentially work with them. So here's my opinion on them, and I do want to kind of just put this out there as like a disclaimer. First of all, I've never purchased one of these lists, and I'm going to tell you why, but I've never purchased this list. People have tried to sell me these lists multiple times. And my other disclaimer is I have friends who sell these lists. So this is not a knock against them. This is not a knock against people who sell these lists. And at the end of the day, whether or not you want to buy the list, it's completely up to you. But I want to kind of give a foundational, video and topic on what I think of these lists, because I do have people that ask me pretty regularly about these lists. So first of all, if you're not selling to a private buyer, I think you should be, because they're awesome and they streamline the process of buying and selling phones tremendously. Second of all, so the big turn on with these lists is that you have extremely high paying private buyers in them. Guys, it's kind of really I'm not going to name any names, because who knows how long this video will be on YouTube, who knows how the industry changes from now until later, but we all have, we know of these generic kind of private buyers who are very popular and pay, pretty good prices. We see them in the phone flipping groups. A lot of times they will message you and try to connect with you, and that's awesome. Honestly, those are the type of people that I sell to. I see the value in doing that. But then there are also the private buyers who do pay higher than them, and of course you would have to buy the list or buy the information to be able to sell to them. What I would tell you is, before you do anything, before you ever send to a private buyer, if you don't know the private buyer personally and don't have references from them, I would never send them a phone, no matter what list they're on, no matter who recommends them or anything like that. Because guys, you're dealing with thousands of dollars at a time, and you don't want to lose that money. So first and foremost, I would always recommend, the first time you deal with a private buyer you don't know, make sure you PayPal invoice them and you receive that payment before you ship the phones to them. Second of all, I say that to say this: you want to deal with a private buyer that you know and that you trust. So myself personally, I deal with a few of private buyers, but mainly, I'm going to be completely honest, I deal with the guys at Atlas Mobile and I deal with the guys at Zeltec. It's no secret. Obviously, they're not paying these Hong Kong prices, but they're paying very good prices for what they are, okay? These are U.S.-based private buyers who have amazing communication skills. So there's value in that. There's value in somebody being able to answer your question at any time that you have that question. For example, let's say that you're appraising a phone and it has a broken home button. Okay, how do you know and how can you tell them and how do you know how much to offer if you don't exactly know how much you can get for that, because the list is not completely clear. The private buyer list is not completely clear. All that I ever do in situations like that is I literally just text my private buyer and I ask. So it's super easy. They tell me right away, and I've built that good foundation or relationship with them. Aside from that, I also know that I can trust them. Because I can trust them, I send my items up front to them, which literally saves me thousands of dollars every few weeks, just because I don't have to pay PayPal fees. So you want to have a private buyer you want to have one you can trust, and you want to have one you can communicate with. That's why I always recommend Atlas and I recommend Zellphone, because I've done business with them personally. I know they do stellar business, and I know that they're not going to scam you. You can't always say the same thing about every single private buyer out there. And guys, just because somebody has a private buyer list does not mean they are legit. You need to be checking up on each and every person that you send to. Okay, so I got that out of the way. So you might be asking, well, are the lists worth it? Everybody has a different list. There are different lists out there. And the main thing that I would tell you is you got to kind of look at who's selling you the list. Can you really trust them? Do you know that what they say, you can take it and it's complete truth? Because these lists are usually a few $1,000s. So can you guarantee that they're bringing you this value? And at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you there are good lists out there and there are probably bad lists out there. The only way that you can really tell the difference between the two is looking at who's selling it to you. So somebody like Luke, who's extremely reputable and has been in the industry for a long time and has built up a lot of connections and resources. If I had to put my marbles in one basket, it would probably be his list that I would purchase, because I know I can trust him. Remember, guys, in this industry, when you're dealing with thousands of dollars and just trust, you've got to be looking at who you're selling to. So, Luke doesn't even know I'm recording this video, so I'm not affiliating for him or anything. But guys, if you do purchase a list, you need to look at who you're purchasing it from, because not everybody's going to have your best intentions in mind, and that's just the fact of it, okay? But, so there you go. These lists vary. Are they worth it? I would say no. In some cases, yes. And for you, they might be, but for me, they're not. Because, guys, here's the awesome thing. You can always look around in different groups and see who is price matching different prices. For example, Zellphone and Atlas, these guys price match higher prices. So if you find somebody that's paying more than them, within reason, they can price match and you can still deal with them and you can still have your phones sent to them, and it's super easy. And guys, this isn't just me advertising for them. This is just saying I trust these people and this is what I do, so I'm going to show you exactly what I do. It's really easy, guys. The more that you brand yourself and the more successful you are, the more that these private buyers are going to reach out to you. And when these private buyers are reaching out to you, they're going to give you their price list. You're going to find who pays extremely high. And then at the end of the day, all that you have to do is really just take it back to your private buyer and see if they're willing to price match. It's as simple as that. I will say, just off the top of my head, I know of, and I've had private buyers contact me who are paying some of the highest and top prices on these lists that are being sold. So essentially, if I personally had bought the list, I would have felt like it was a big waste, because I'm like, these people are contacting me anyway. Why do I need to? And I'm not saying this is the case for everybody, but I have a lot of these extremely high paying buyers contact me anyway, and it's essentially for free. So guys, that's my take on these private buyer lists. I will never sell a private buyer list. So that being said, if you ever see me selling a private buyer list, you need to comment and subscribe to this video, send it to me, post it all over Facebook, say that I'm a scammer, everything like that, just because I don't believe in the value of it. But I'm not going to knock those who are doing it the right way and are actually selling good lists. And I think you can make that decision for yourself on who is actually doing a good job and will have the good list for you. At the end of the day, guys, if you're a newer guy who doesn't have a lot of resources, who doesn't have a lot of connections, I still don't even recommend a private buyer list, because you probably don't have the positive cash flow. These lists cost a lot of money, and you can be using that money, to buy more phones, to advertise better, to do better stuff like that. So I would not put it into the list. I would put it into finding a good private buyer who pays extremely well and who you're comfortable with. At the end of the day, if you're a super experienced guy, I still don't know that this list would be for you, because the odds are connections already. You still have people that you can talk to, and you have people that you can sell your phones to, that you can make a lot of money with. Again, guys, this is not in every single case. I know these lists have extremely high paying private buyers in them. I know that there are huge benefits to these lists. I'm not knocking them. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just telling you why I believe what I believe and why, what I think you should believe. You can take it for whatever you want to, but guys, at the end of the day, I'm concerned about my group members. I'm concerned about my course members. I want to make sure you're getting the best deal. I want to make sure that you're making the most of your money, and I'm not out here to make a quick buck off of you guys. I'm not going to sell you a list. Again, I'm not knocking those who sell lists. I want to stress that 20 times over. If somebody sells a list, they're not a scammer. They're not a bad guy. They're just somebody that has the connections and they want to hook you up real quickly for them. Guys, if you have any questions about this, comment below. And even if you have a differing opinion, comment below. I respect that. I'm not going to bash you. I completely understand. Comment below. Share this video. Like this video. Subscribe to me, guys. Trying to bring more content to y'all. If you're not in my phone flipping group on Facebook, join it. It's Phone Flipping A through Z. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. Y'all have a good day.